Be advised that this video will contain major spoilers for the FNAF 2 movie. You have been warned. Hey, and welcome to my first collection of little theories, oh, I know this is, or I have a high-educated, hypothesized guess that this is gonna happen. So the FNAF 2 movie is fresh off the grill, and I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to dig in. So let's dig in. To start off, at some point in the movie, when a group that have a channel called Spectral Scoopers, which honestly, I'm pretty sure is a reference to the Scooper. These Easter eggs, most of the time with a FNAF Easter egg, it's not an Easter egg. Right? It's that, but it's also including the lore. So the Spectral Scoopers, they go to the FNAF 2 OG location with authorization from someone called Michael, who is honestly very clearly Michael Afton, and is apparently one of the main protagonists of the movies. I mean, we'll cover that more in the future, but dang. Really? Wasn't he the main hero of the games? As you'd expect, these Spectral Scoopers, it's like a haunted house channel and all that, right? Paranormal investigators, out of Phasmophobia. So they do their thing, they get an invitation from Michael, and then, what would you expect? They die. They die by the animatronic. It's to show how powerful the animatronics are, and it works. There are 3 of them, and 2 of them die in very interesting ways. The third one dies interesting too, but it's not really relevant. One of them is wading through an indoor river. When he hears something in the water, he proceeds to not leave, but stands there, and we get a shot of a bunch of marionette dolls under the water. He then gets turned into a human smoothie. Okay, first off, can I just say, if you see something move under the water, you're supposed to be alone. Jump out of the water! I know it's not, as easy to jump out of the water as it is to jump normally, or push! Especially considering that's probably still water, considering the place is closed down. We later learn that the only spirit inside the original location of FNAF 2 is Charlotte, aka the puppet, or controlling the puppet, and she controls the wizards and the toys remotely. But how would she be able to control the dolls? Assuming these are normal dolls, or statues as we see in other shots, they not only can't move, but they don't have robot circuitry, or I don't know. But one thing that comes to mind, that if they are, mini robots, is the Buddytronics from Tales of the Pizzaplex. Essentially, they were miniature robotic doll versions of the animatronic characters that you could order, but they don't come from the prize counter, as we see earlier in the movie. And even then, it's highly unlikely they're that, especially since we don't see other characters' versions of that. The only other thing that makes the most sense to me are the Mini-Arenas, or a similar technology to it. I don't know, why would they give mini-arena technology and then just make them stay still the whole day and night? I seriously doubt Fazbear Entertainment is willing to put all that money to just make them stand still if they're robots. But still, they act in accordance with the puppet, so they're in the network that allows her to control them. So, here's my prediction, okay? Listen here. They're either an early concept for the mini-arenas or a repurposing of them, or an alternate version of them. Considering the designs are honestly also similar. This'll come up later in the video. Don't you worry, this'll come up later. Let's move on to number 2. The last member of Spectral Scoops, and the leader of them, goes down to the puppet's box, which is in a very creepy back room, and proceeds to mess with the music box, which is an item that isn't hers, and she got invited to the location. So you'd think she would at least have common courtesy, but whatever. She stops the music box. Eventually, the puppet pops out and body snatches her. I thought that was Ennard's whole gimmick, but the way the puppet does it is a little bit different. However, as the animatronic Barty, I don't really know where it goes. Does it cease to exist? It either goes inside of the possessee, through the mouth or something, or just phases in like the Flash. Or it just collapses, but we never see it collapse on the ground, okay? When these characters do get possessed by the puppet, it makes your eyes turn yellow like a Sith, but even more yellow. And give you purple streak tear marks just like on the mask. So, animatronic spirit possessions are on the table, as if they weren't already, but I feel like they're more so on the table now. But not only that, but when you get unpossessed, you don't seem to die. The first victim dies, we see the body at some point in the movie, right? When we get a shot of an angle of a room that we didn't get to have that shot before. But Abby gets possessed later in the movie, right? She does not die after getting unpossessed. So it's either A, because Mike used the music box as Abby was possessed so the puppet didn't exit normally, or B, the puppet can actively choose whether or not you live, and then the puppet likely killed her first victim after using her, but not as a result of possessing her, okay? I think it's important to bring up how the spirit of Charlotte in the movies and the spirit of Cassidy in the games are adjacent. Both are willing to take revenge on those they believe wronged them, no matter the cost. However, this is the moment the similarities end. Charlotte believes the parents who ignored her cries for help are deserving of her revenge and not her killer. In fact, it's explicitly stated that she doesn't care about William. What? Whereas Cassidy has the same amount of rage in the games, but it's focused on William. Speaking of Cassidy, I'm pretty sure, unless, like, the one kid we saw that was talking to Abby towards that one point was, like, one of the spirits in Golden Freddy, I'm pretty sure we don't see Golden Freddy in this movie at all. I get the first movie had more of an, influence on it, but essentially, it feels like Cassidy and Charlotte switched roles completely. Golden Freddy's nowhere to be found, so either Golden Freddy is too busy sticking with William Afton and punishing him, or, as I previously mentioned, the roles are swapped, which, it could be both, actually. It could still be both. In fact, in the movies, in the games how the puppet gives life to the animatronics, not happening in the movies, at least not as we're currently aware of it, because Charlotte never gives life, okay? She's the only spirit that she knows of before her robots get bodied by the OG crew, you know what I'm saying? One of the many things that's similar, but not exact to the games or the books. Definitely one of those things. Remember what I said about the mini-arenas and puppet dolls? Not only can I back that up with what I'm about to say, but it will also help prove the fact that this movie finally cements roughly when Circus Baby's Pizza World, and of course, sister location, the underground bunker area, is. In a dream sequence of Vanessa, we get to see her childhood house. When hiding from her dad, she stumbles upon a giant, literally giant, circus baby, which looks to be almost, if not entirely, complete of a robot, of an animatronic, right? Because we get to see how young Vanessa looks in that dream, we can cross-reference that, analyticalize it, flashback sequence in the beginning, which means Circus Baby's Pizza World and the sister location bunker, or at the very least the animatronics, were in full force in their prime time, in the absolute peak pinnacle of their activity as of roughly 1982, which is when, the whole Charlotte dying thing is. So it's roughly around 1982, at least for the movies, we know roughly when Sister Location takes place. Either that, or it's an ominous foreshadowing of Vanessa's future. Or her past! For the final tidbit of the video, which isn't all I have in store, if we take Circus Baby as a part of a memory Vanessa had when she was younger, trying to break through to her, then considering she isn't possessing Baby, it's my prediction that Vanessa is the Charlie equivalent of the movies. What I mean is, if you don't know who Charlie is a character in the FNAF books who, I think, like the trilogy, the first 3 FNAF books that came out, who dies at a really young age, and then Henry, her father, makes humanoid robots of her for each life stage she would have gone through. Given Vanessa's troubled past, and William and Michael both saying she belongs to William, which could just be because William's kind of a bad dad. It's also probably this, I'm not gonna lie. It seems like a clear, complete, concise setup for the payoff of her being a robot, android, whatever you want to call it. Bang. Of course, at the end of the day, this has all just been somewhat educated speculation. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. And while you're down there, why don't you like and subscribe? Anyway, God bless you all. I hope you have an amazing day, week, month, year, and lifetime. And I'll catch y'all next time. Till then.